So today I had no idea what we are going to be talking about, and I kind of just decided that we would talk about various records. But first, look at this shirt. This is one of the shirts I got while thrift store shopping with my parents. And you know what? It doesn't fit me as well as I like, and by fit me as well as I like, I mean it doesn't make me look not fat. I feel like I'm a chubby 90s paleontologist. I have like this weird appreciation for soapstone carvings, and I would love to try it myself, but I picked up this dude while I was thrift store shopping. It's a rabbit with a terrifying face with another rabbit carved inside of it. Isn't that nuts? I mean, it looks a little janky, but that's still impressive. I don't have a whole lot of battery, as usual, because I'm dumb, but we're just gonna get straight into it. I have these in no particular order, but I'm pretty sure I like every single album that's here. Starting with Wilder Mind. This is Mumford & Sons' best album that I've heard, and I think I've heard all of them. Just their new sound that they came out with that album was so good. It had its own kind of atmosphere, just for, each song kind of carried the same atmosphere, and it was great. The album art as well kind of conveys that same energy, this nighttime cityscape vibe. Really cool. Let's see. This is Bonnie. I don't know. I don't know how his name is spelled, or how his name is pronounced, but this was a pretty dang good album. It was one of the first albums that I got. I just kind of listened to it when I was going to bed, and it's really good music for that. Or actually, the cover art kind of reminds me of my view from my old bedroom window. The window was not as frosty as this, but it could be most of the time. But anyway, there's these trees that I look at, and the whole album just kind of conveyed this really cozy feeling of just laying on my bed and looking out the window at the trees, even though it's probably not what the lyrics were about, but I still enjoyed it. Oh, this one's not actually mine. This is Allison's. But this was like one of the albums that got me super into finding my own music that I enjoy as a child. This was such an amazing album that Imagine Dragons did. Regardless of what they're doing now, this will always be amazing. This is Mumford & Sons' Babel. And I don't have a super strong memory of this album, surprisingly. I think I just put it on when I clean a lot. It's still a good album. I remember a couple of the songs, like Broken Crown was probably my favorite one off of this album. I like songs that tell kind of a long story in their 3-minute kind of time frame, and Broken Crown does a really good job of that. We only have 3 albums left, and I realized I should probably be talking about my favorite song on every album, so we're going to start doing that from now on. This right here is Vampire Weekend's Vampires of the City, which I hate to keep saying it, but it is an amazing album. I don't know how else to describe it. I forgot that it actually comes with a poster. I gotta put that up in here. Pretty dang cool. Very cool artwork. Look at that. Isn't that neat? And then on the flip side, it's got all the songs and their lyrics and everything, which I appreciate, because when I started buying albums, I thought it was a cool way to kind of have your music in a physical form. Obviously there's CDs, but it's not as fun, not as cool of a gimmick as records. This album was kind of an introductory album for me for music that is kind of different. Like songs like Ya Hey it has a really strange sound, and if people probably just saw you listening to it or heard it while they're walking by your bedroom, probably think you're kind of weird. But when you listen to the song and the emotion that they put into it, that Ezra puts into it, it's amazing. But that's not my favorite song that's on this album. My two kind of competing favorite songs from this album would probably be Step or Hannah Hunt. Probably Hannah Hunt. That one is just like, it's a slow burn as far as songs go, but once he really gets into the song, his vocals are incredible. And even though there's this odd effect on his vocals, it's still very powerful. Okay, so this is probably one of my favorite possessions that I have. It's one of the favorite pieces of music that I bought as well, for the sheer experience of getting it. Not even just listening to it, but having it in my possession has just been great. This is the soundtrack for Ocarina of Time, and it's on two beautiful albums. If you open up the inside, there's some art, a rendition of the video game, and just so much care went into this. Like, it was like a whole project. It's a book kind of with two albums inside of it. The first album here has its own artwork, which is just the coolest thing ever, because you have all like the pretty fairy lights and stuff here, and it tells you what's on each album. But when you put it in the little slot here, it lines up to be the holes on the ocarina itself. Same with this side. It's kind of interchangeable. You can put this one in the front and have the same thing. I don't know why I never do. I just like to have it the same way that it came. I'll take these out so you can see just how gorgeous these records actually are, if I can find the slot. It kind of shows you where to begin with the half heart there. Or sorry, the quarter heart, and then the half heart on the other side. As far as side A and side B goes. And then as it goes on, you see that the heart fills all the way up by the time you're done. And this is an orchestral version of the music that's in the game, which in my opinion is probably the best soundtrack or score for a video game that's ever been written. Every song just conveys the otherworldliness of Hyrule in the game. And plus, I don't know if it's a biased thing to say, because this Ocarina of Time was mine and my grandma's favorite game when I was a child, and we'd play it often, and she would beat all the bad guys for me. And actually, I still have the N64 that she used to play, and I have the Ocarina of Time that she used to play, and her save file is still on there, and it's just a really cool keepsake to have to remember her by. Anyway, for the last album here, I have Of Monsters and Men's Fever Dream. Now, these aren't all the albums that I have in general. These are just all the ones that I have on vinyl, because I just brought these home with me. And this is their newest album. I pre-ordered this one. I was a little surprised to see in the subreddit that people were absolutely just spitting on this album. It's a great album, honestly. It's so different from what they've done before, but it still has that Of Monsters and Men kind of atmosphere to it, where it's like it's like this transformational, actually I'd say transportational experience, where it kind of brings you out of your current setting and kind of forces you into whatever weird world the band members have created in these songs. It's almost like it becomes a soundtrack to your life at that moment, and I don't know, it just makes you feel like you live in a world that isn't full of garbage people doing garbage things, and kind of makes you feel like you have this amazing purpose to go out and do something cool. I'd say my favorite song from this album is probably Under a Dome. When I listened to this album at first, I didn't really give Under a Dome a good chance. But again, it's one of those slow burn songs. It's actually very similar to Hannah Hunt in a way that it's got a really slow kind of build up. But at the end of Under a Dome, Ragnar, one of the band members, like the second lead vocalist, he really shows off what voice he has, which is really good to hear, because in a lot of albums you get some songs where Ragnar sings the whole thing, but he let loose in Under a Dome. And even though there was some effect on it, just like Ezra and Hannah Hunt, it was still just as powerful, if not more powerful. And I don't know, I highly recommend listening to it for yourself, alone, headphones, make an event out of it. It's really good, you won't regret it. And pre-ordering the vinyl, it actually came with this lithograph that I need to get framed because it has signatures from everyone in the band, which is a really special thing for me to own. Actually, they released 5 different versions of the vinyls, and there's only 100 copies each, so I have 1 out of 100 of these guys that was sent out, which I feel is really special. Signatures are really weird. I don't know why people, including myself, find them so special, but it's just like, I guess when we see someone that we really admire, really enjoy, and having something that they had at one point makes us feel closer to them, I suppose, as we might want to be. Anyway, that's pretty much all the time I have for this video today, so this was a rough one. Honestly, I've been doing such strange things lately with these videos, and getting back to just the old classic sitting down and talking to the camera has been an interesting adjustment again. Being stuck in the house has also been an interesting adjustment. I have been out of work for a few days now, just sitting inside, trapped out of the snow. The snowstorm ended at noon today, and it is now like 9 o'clock, and we're still not plowed out. We're still trapped here, out of toilet paper, out of food. So, I hope you enjoyed this video. You don't have to though. If you didn't, that's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll get you next time with whatever I talk about. And hey, if you're subscribed and you're not liking my videos, tell me what you want to see. I want to do more things that you want to see as well. And I want to do more things online, all sorts of stuff. So just let me know. Well, I'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.